Mm-hmm.
We finally in a situation where we got the defense right. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like now the offense is sputtering. Now we just got breaking news that Frank Ragnow looked like he's got a partially torn pec. It looks like they're not saying anything. But it says here, but the believe Ian Rappaport's reporting is saying that he believes it's not season ending. But like you said, when we was talking during the pre-show, I don't know how you can play with a hurt pec. I mean, don't you need like that chest leverage? You know what I'm saying, to get off on the block. You know what I'm saying? That man, this has been a mash unit for all across the NFL. Not just the Lions, but we're here tonight to talk about the Lions situation that for our team with this injury, man. Well, what's your initial thoughts before we get into what said we was going to talk about? I mean, what you think about Frank Ragnow? What you think about this situation?
Um, Something we couldn't afford to happen.
Yeah,
I think with the youth of this offensive line, not so much Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker as far as the tackles, but interior. Considering the fact that we haven't really legitimately, this dog just acting a fool over there with this damn rope. Anyway, the fact that we never really consistently, legitimately addressed the interior of the offensive line. They went out and they drafted Kobe Sorsdal, hoping that out of William and Mary, hoping that he would pan out.
yeah.
The draft pick taking the flyer on Manu
Uh,
Giovanni Manu
Giovanni
Giovanni.
Manu,
Which one is it? Sorry about that.
Manu
Until you
Ginobili.
play, I ain't gonna really learn it. It's just how it is. But yeah, Christian Mahogany, he was a guy that we were high on the entire draft process. And we were just really stoked when the team drafted him. We thought that he had a damn good shot of starting this season, and
Yeah,
he's been missing in action for whatever reasons he's got going on, personal reasons with himself. This is something we discussed. People may
yeah,
view us the way they view us as, oh, y'all too negative, or y'all always speaking too deep into situations, whatever, but we see things coming.
yeah,
Everything that we discussed, everything that went wrong with this team the past couple years, we discussed it in the offseason
yeah. I mean,
about whether they
yeah,
addressed it or they didn't address it. And this is
hmm
something else that wasn't addressed.
yeah.
And
Center here, Frank.
injuries happen to offensive line. It just
hmm
happened. And I mean, Frank is a guy that was already kind of running on fumes, I think, towards the end of the career, because he's still a great player. If it wasn't for the injuries, Frank would probably play another 6-7 years at a
Yeah,
high level for that matter. But, Frank was already playing, not practicing, missing game, not practicing, practicing on Friday, playing in games the last couple years.
yeah,
And we love him for it here, man. Warrior. But
yeah,
this is something that usually a torn pec, a fully torn pec, will put you out for the whole year.
yeah.
Partially torn pec, considering what he already goes through. You talking about him probably toughing it out because he tough as nails. So you
hmm
talking about him
Yeah,
probably gutting it out one game really badly. We win. He take the week off. Maybe he can play the next week. Maybe he can't. There's gonna be a lot of that, man.
hmm
Unless they feel like they need to just go ahead and look at the bigger picture. We're gonna shut him down until he's ready.
hmm
But can they afford to shut him down for 6, 7, 8 weeks?
yeah.
Especially with a bye this damn early. Like,
hmm
like this is
That
what
vibe was killer, man.
they
That
got
vibe
us.
was a bad omen from the start. Remember we talked about that, but that getting a bye week in week 5. I mean that was just ridiculous, man.
What up, Mike?
Yeah,
Yep.
it looks like
Partially torn pec.
yeah, it looks like Frank Ragnow partially torn pec. Probably, like I said, it's no confirmation that he's gonna miss like the season or anything like that. It's just it was from Ian Rappaport. He reported this. So we just talking about the health of this team, man. You know what I'm saying? I think it's legit, it's a legit concern. Because remember, I text you, I thought Terrion Arnold, knock on wood, was hurt because he fell the wrong way too, like trying to come up and support the run, and the guy got knocked down. I don't know if it was James Conner or the other guy. I can't think of his name. 33 for the Cardinals. Fell right into Trey Benson. I couldn't think of. Sorry for that. Um, fell right. His helmet went right into his knee. You know what I'm saying? And it was like it didn't look good at first, but thankfully, as much as people around here complaining about Terrion Arnold, we can't afford to lose that kid, even though his career is 3 games old. We seen Sam Laporta, with a block of ice on his foot, ankle, and then coming out saying that it's a low ankle sprain. You know what I mean? Not a high ankle sprain. The dreaded high ankle sprain is what players dread. So it looks like it's not as serious as that. And I don't think Sam been healthy since preseason. You know what I'm saying? I really do. You can tell.
He doesn't move like he don't run like it, he don't cut like it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could tell he's out there just trying to gut it out. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing you can say about these injuries, obviously Derek Barnes. I don't know why I didn't hear anything about Derek Barnes yet. You know what I mean?
Neither did I. Haven't heard much about Aleem either.
Mhm,
Aleem dealing with the shoulder. Anything when you start talking about those upper joints up here, man,
mhm,
as a defensive tackle, everything is built off explosion. Not only explosion from your lower body, of course, but you're talking
yeah,
about the upper body explosion, your neck and everything. These is areas that have to be strong. They got to be dense. They got to be durable. Then you talking about there's too much wrestling involved at the line of scrimmage for you to be dealing with a torn pec or a
mhm,
shoulder. And we
yeah,
talking about our star defensive tackle and our Pro Bowl center. So I mean,
mhm,
this is for this to happen to just one side of the ball. I think if it was spread it out a little bit better, injury wise, on
yeah,
both sides, maybe, or maybe if the offense was playing a lot better right now, I would feel a lot better. But considering the fact that the defense had been carrying us for the first 3 games, for them to lose some firepower like that, and like I said, Marcus Davenport, the only thing with Davenport is the fact that he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
mhm,
When he was in New Orleans, he didn't do anything in Minnesota. He was hurt. But when he was in New Orleans, when he was healthy, he looked like a dominant player.
mhm,
Power
yeah,
rusher, old school power rusher. You talking about losing 6'6", 280
yeah, yep,
that can
yep,
play the run just as well as he can rush the passer as a power rusher.
mhm, yeah,
That's
yeah. I
something
like
that
what
we
I
didn't
saw.
have. I mean,
Yeah,
Aiden is 6'6", but like outside of that, we don't have that type of pass rusher at all. Now
yeah,
we're talking about taking guys like Levi Uwuzurike and Makai
mhm,
Wingo, guys who are like sawed off shotguns, guys who are 6'1", 280. Levi, I believe, is 6'2", 285, maybe 290.
yeah,
Now you're asking them to be traditional edge rushers against some of these tackles in the league that are like supreme athletes. I don't think people understand it's not that easy to just take a defensive tackle and just tell him to go play edge.
yeah, yeah.
Most of
Totally
these dudes
different
never did
position.
it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
different
some of them
position, man.
haven't did it since high school. So
Yeah,
I think it's rough, man. I think out of all of them, we can get by without Barnes, and I love Barnes. I think
mhm,
Barnes has really come into his own since last season. We can probably get by with Barnes because we have higher level linebacker play. I think right now. Now you got the concussion thing going on with
with
Alexander
Anzalone.
Zaloni,
Yeah,
but maybe Jack Campbell can emerge. We already know we can get in a pinch. We can get a little bit of production out of Jalen Reeves-Maybin. That's another reason why he
uh-huh,
keeps a job here.
mhm.
But
Yeah,
rushing the
Michael
passer,
Rodriguez.
man, like Aiden
Yeah,
is a one-man wrecking crew right now.
yeah,
So the
yeah.
problem is, what else? How are we going to replace that against the run and as far as rushing the passer?
You're not going to be able to do it on the cheap, man. And I think we've been
Set on the
getting
cheap.
away with it. I mean, we've been getting away with it. I mean, you was talking during the draft, and they didn't even draft another guy. You
We
would
just
have
asked
thought,
them to spread the wealth.
yeah,
Like
yeah, right,
instead of the
right,
2 corners with the 2 picks, not saying both of these guys won't turn out to be really great players, but come
yeah,
on, like maybe an edge rusher instead of Rakestraw. Or if you
yeah,
really like Rakestraw like that and they felt he was going to fall, maybe an edge rusher. You talked about Latu
yeah.
from
For
UCLA earlier
UCLA.
today. I mean, and we're not just second guessing the draft. We're just saying that in general,
Yeah,
there were some positions in Manu.
yeah,
There
right.
was still a lot of productive players at that spot. Wide
Yeah,
receiver wise, edge rusher slash linebacker, off ball linebacker wise, that would have gave us some versatility. You took a flyer on
Yeah.
somebody who couldn't
Yeah.
help a Super Bowl caliber team right away.
Yeah. I was banging the table for Edrin Cooper, man. You know, that was another
Well, yeah,
guy.
him too.
Yeah, I was banging the table for him, and Green Bay wound up drafting the kid, but I thought that was, another kid that you could have put in the system. I mean, it's neither here nor there. I mean, like you said, we just kind of making a comparison. Now, when you get in, now when you do that, like how you overload on one position, and then you kind of neglect another position. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you said, this team hasn't really drafted another center. Like we got the one kid from Florida, I think that's on the practice squad. That's really like the only guy the last 2 years that we've
Or
had at
edge
that
rusher.
position. Yeah, because
How
remember,
many defensive tackles have we drafted?
yeah, a lot. Coming in, the last couple years, and
And
then
the
signing
undrafted free agent defensive
undrafted
tackles
free agent.
we signed too. So yeah, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
where's the edge rush help?
That's right. That's right. And it's like, I know they see this, and it's just unbelievable to me how that position has been neglected. And trust me, you're not getting by. You're not going to Super Bowl without it. So I don't even want to think about that, because you got to be able to up the ante, man. When the chips is down, you got to be able to get to the quarterback, man. And Aiden Hutchinson, now teams know that now is going to be back to he getting double
Well,
teamed now, but it's really going to be a fight for him. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think more than anything right now it's time to we got to figure out who's going to stand out because it's a lot of parity in the league right now, and I think this is the
Yep.
way the league is going to unfold for the rest of the season. We may not see you and I both agreed in the off season that when the preseason that they're probably if there's a 13 game winner in the league this year, it's only going to be one.
I
The
don't know.
whole 14 game winning thing and the
Yeah,
13 it's going to be damn tough
it's hard, man.
to
It's
crack
hard.
11, 12 this year, man. The parity is just too rough right now. Look at Houston. They were considered, well, they still are considered Super Bowl contenders, but they got stumped out by Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Minnesota 3-0 right now. So it's with so much parity in the league, if you're one of the upper echelon teams, and Frisco, they suffered their injuries as well.
Yeah.
If you're one of those upper echelon teams, you got to be looking around like, okay, so what do we do to just make sure this is our year? Because it's looked like everybody else struggling around us. We need to make sure that we can put ourselves above the rest of these dudes out here right now.
Yeah.
Because we talked about Trey Hendrickson. I
Yeah,
mean,
for
if you're being
Cincinnati.
honest about it, Cincinnati lose and they fall to 0-3. You still talking about what Chase and his money, and there's a few other guys on the team that may need to get paid or whatnot.
Yeah,
If they
sign
wanted
me
to
up.
pay Trey Hendrickson, they would have paid him by now. I truly believe it. And he's not asking to be the highest paid ever, like some of these dudes are. So I think that's just how the haves play it against the have-nots.
Yeah.
We're the winners. That's when you start looking around these other franchises around the league. Oh, y'all 0-3? Oh, y'all 0-4 over there? Oh, y'all 1-5? Y'all 1-6? What's up with such and such?
Right.
What's up with him? Y'all moving off any of these players?
Right.
Because I just think like now Philly looks really, really. Even though I took New Orleans, which I never should have did, man. Every time I trust New Orleans, man,
I'm surprised
they lose
you took them boys. Yeah.
every single no. But do Philly look convincing?
They like us. I mean, I'm gonna say what I think that in this.
I think we have a better,
situation-
more consistent passing game. Goff is better from the pocket. I think just as a pure passer.
Yeah, and I think all of these teams are gonna get better. I think the Lions, obviously, they're gonna break out of it. You know what I'm saying? Offensively, I believe that. You know what I'm saying? And having a day to think about it and take it all in, and like you said, the injuries do play. And let's be honest. Well, this team has been relatively lucky the last couple of years with injury. We haven't had a lot of injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, I mean, St. Brown missed 1 or 2 games. I remember.
Right. Frank
Jameer
will be
Gibbs
in and
missed,
out from time to time.
Jameer Gibbs missed maybe 1 or 2 games, but we haven't had buku injuries. And I think now we've hit with the injury bug, but I can't say this. I mean, not that we here to bash Brad Holmes now, because that's not what we're doing, but you can't say he has reloaded this team where, okay, at certain spots we can afford injury, but just we getting them at the wrong positions. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Like,
the guys we're missing now changes the way AG can call defense.
mhm,
And I think that's a really big deal.
yeah,
Really big
right.
deal.
But I think Makai Wingo, I think he's a guy that he's a kid.
Yeah.
Like if Aleem can't play for a couple weeks, I think Makai Wingo is more than capable of playing, a spot duty role. He a rotational guy. We both agree, but he got something the other couple guys that don't have. I think he got a little bit of dog in him, man. I really do. I like Makai Wingo. I think he's a guy that this team can lean on just at that position. Now, I was thinking about this because he is a little bit undersized. Maybe they try to use him at Ed Rusher. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like a Dwight Freeney type. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's as quick as Dwight Freeney was, you know what I'm saying, coming off the ball, but I think that he can be a guy that can menace the quarterback a little bit, and AG has shown that he could disguise some blitzes, disguise some pressure, play a little gap, you know what I'm saying, and make it to where you can make it difficult for
I would
certain
say this
quarterbacks,
about Wingo at 6'2", 290. I believe it's 6'2", 290, 6 foot
Yeah,
285, something like that.
He's short.
He's all yeah, but man, I went through so much Makai Wingo film over the summer, like pre-draft, during the draft, after the draft. We did shows. I know me and Spirit of Detroit did a film study show on Makai Wingo after the draft. The one thing he's gonna do multiple things well. For a guy that's his size, he holds the line of scrimmage pretty well. He takes on double teams pretty well to be that short. He plays with great leverage. Great leverage. Whole thing is this though, and I was surprised because when you think about it, when you look at his size, you wouldn't think that LSU would have played him up and down the defensive line the way they did. They ain't play him at zero that often, but 1, 2, 2-eye, 3 tech.
Yeah.
They would line him up from time to time at 4 tech right over the offensive tackle. Like they let him do a whole lot along that defensive line.
Yeah.
He's getting an opportunity now. Remember, this was like weeks before the season started. We talked about guys like Makai Wingo find their way onto the football field.
Mm-hmm.
They just do. And when they find their way onto the football field, you can find a hard time keeping them off.
Yeah.
Because he's going to play well. I think as long as DJ Reader's next to him, he's going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. And they can play him at 2 tech over the guard and just let him work that way.
Yeah. I think that it could be a situation where we're gonna have
Spoke this man up.
Disguise some pressures. I hate doing that. I just want to be able to just line up and just put our two best edge rushers out there and play. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got to go back to gimmicks. You got to go back to disguise, and you got to go back to some trickery. You know what I mean? I hate that. I want to be able to just line up and play and just mano a mano. You got to stop our guys just like, we got to stop yours. That type of thing. That's how I want to play, especially on the defensive line. But, to add to your point, I think, that's maybe he's the only guy I can think of, man. I mean, to be able to maybe
he's the only one I have confidence in. And that's sad. I'm going to say that's sad because Josh been here for 3 years.
Yeah, Josh passed.
Well, almost 3. This year 3 of him. Levi, he's healthy. He's starting to
show
some potential and whatnot.
He's looking good, but I don't know if he's a pass rusher. You know what I'm saying?
Right. On the interior, Levi's pretty solid.
Yeah,
I'm afraid that they're gonna take both of those dudes out of their elements and to try to make them like 3-4 edge rushers, and like I don't think they have the length and the size to really hold up in that. And I don't want to see Makai get beat down like that, and I don't want to see Levi get beat down like that. I think we in a tight squeeze, Nate.
Yeah. We in the bind. We in the bind,
Nate.
Yeah. Hey, look at this though. Look at the next couple quarterbacks you play. Geno Smith, Paramount. You get pressure on Geno Smith. Right after the bye, Dak Prescott, and then Sam Darnold. The resurgence of Sam Darnold all of a sudden. Oh my God. So now you got to be able to put pressure on these guys because it's well documented. If you get to these guys, they do have tendencies to, make errant throws, or any quarterback, if they getting pressure, you know what I'm saying, going to maybe want to
I
deliver the
think
ball.
Dallas should be easier this year. Because
Mhm.
right now Dallas can't stop the run and Dallas can't run the ball. So like
Yeah.
that should be, but who knows? Once we go to Dallas, it's like weird things start happening, man.
Yeah, because I had us 4-0 going in Dallas, and then I had us losing in Dallas. On not that I think that Dallas is a better team than the Lions, just like you said, just some crazy always happens when we play the Cowboys. So I had us 4-0 going into the bye, and it's like now, I mean, not that I'm trying to be right, but what I'm getting at is I just thought that on paper, the Lions are damn near a better team than every game they play this year. They should be favored, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even this week, I think they favored against Seattle. Seattle got the winning record, but I think early returns to the Lions 4.5, 5-point favorites, if I'm not mistaken. So that tells you that Vegas not going to sleep on the Lions and saying they suck or this, that, and the other. I think on a home field these injuries absolutely going to change how we play. You want to see if Frank Ragnow, man, like you said, we got a bye week coming up after this game. Maybe Frank takes it easy, don't play this week, and then you got a bye week, and then he comes back for the Dallas game. You know what I'm saying? We might have to play it by ear, But like you said, how much is he really going to be able to play, man, with a partially torn pec? I mean, that's brutal right there. Trying to,
And it's almost like which one is,
yeah.
as much as we've struggled explosively to, really generate big plays, chunk plays downfield,
Yeah.
being without Laporte is like, wow, like being down one more weapon is crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's like being down St. Brown right now with the way
Yeah.
that wide receiver room looks. But being without Frank, I don't know. Could they
I'm
potentially get by without Frank? Slide Graham over the center and then
Yeah, because he played a little bit. If Sourstall,
yeah.
you could slide Graham over and play Sourstall. You could, and I'm comfortable with that. Sourstall showed a little something. I'm more devastated by the Davenport thing, man, because I really thought we had. So remember, I texted you. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
that's
because
it.
we was happy to see the defense finally
Man,
looking like that we knew they had potential to look.
that's exactly what we
Yeah.
needed, and he filled that role for 2 games. He missed the Tampa game, but he just was what we needed. You know what I'm saying? Like we tried it with Charles Harris. That wasn't, he had one good season, and then James Houston flirted with it, but James Houston more of a specialty guy. What the heck is he even on the roster for? I don't know. If he's not even getting any run, they not even like he not even on the team, bro. I don't
I
get
just don't think they on good terms with each other.
Man, I don't get James Houston at all. You know what I'm saying? Why he's not playing. So, that's another thing. But yeah, the whole Marcus Davenport thing, that's gonna hurt them the most because you look at the receivers, man, we're gonna have to cover and get pressure on the quarterback. DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb. Yeah, and so it just was some Corey
Corey.
just said it. And we
What up,
knew
Corey?
that, we knew that
Yeah, we did.
Davenport wasn't like every game solution, but man, I can just see okay, maybe miss a couple games and then come back, but now not having them for the season, that's tough, man. That's tough.
Well,
We
I
back
want
to
to ask
square
y'all
one.
this, man, because we just touching on the injuries that occurred yesterday.
Yeah,
We were without a decent amount of guys heading into yesterday's game. So, like, a guy that I've been thinking about is Melifonwu.
mhm.
If we get him back at some point in time over the next couple of weeks, I
Yeah,
think that brings a little bit more pass rush value because you can put him in different packages.
yeah,
He's proven that he can not only play in the box and tackle,
yeah. That's my
he can
guy,
cover
man.
he
Yeah,
can cover tight ends in the slot. He's big enough to cover tight ends. He can cover bigger slot receivers like Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, those type of big slots. He
yeah.
can also blitz. I think they're gonna have to make up for that defensive line loss back in the secondary. I really think that's what's
Mhm.
gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Terrion's got to get healthy. We need Ray Straw healthy.
Brian
Uh,
Branch. What
yeah,
about
Brian Branch
Branch?
too. He
Oh
left,
man.
and that looked kind of scary for him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Brian Branch. Let me say this about him, man. I think he by the end of this season, hell bid he stay healthy. He gonna be one of the top 5 safeties in the league right now. You know what I'm saying? Brian Branch is that deal, man. You know what I'm saying? I just with him, you could see it. He ain't the greatest cover guy, but this is what I like about him. I like that you can move him around, lower the boom on whoever. You know what I'm saying? It's got a nose for the football, sticky hands. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I like the fact that he finds the action.
Yeah, yeah, I
He
like
always
that,
find the
man.
action.
And that's what Terrion Arnold. It's almost like you can see they went to the same
He do too.
school. Yeah,
He
and they got
confident.
coached by the
He
same.
is.
Yeah, you could tell. You could
Yeah.
tell. And for everybody that's laughing at Terrion Arnold, I'm telling y'all, wait till about week 9 or 10.
Yeah, he ain't no Jeff Okuda. I think that his
Yeah,
confidence is a little stronger than Jeff's was. Now Jeff
yeah,
just had a bad break. Jeff came in with the wrong regime.
yeah.
He had that early ACL injury, which completely stunted his growth.
Mhm.
He came back. He got hurt again the next season. So it was like, Jeff just got dealt a bad hand. Terrion was a way better organization. I think he's a better player. He's not crazy thing is Jeff had all the measurables. Jeff was 6'1".
Yeah,
Jeff was 205. Jeff was 438. Jeff had a 40-inch vertical. Jeff had all of those measurables and just didn't work out. But yeah, you can tell. You can tell with Terrion. Terrion confident out there. The moment don't look too big for him. He's not out there shying away from nobody. And
yeah,
what I do like is the fact that he is technically sound.
yeah,
And he's
yeah, yeah.
getting better. He's not committing the same stupid mistakes over and over again. He knows now, okay, y'all
Mhm.
not gonna let me get away with this. Y'all not gonna let me get away with that. So I gotta do more of this, more of that. I like Terrion. Not saying
Yep.
he's gonna be some Deion Sanders or whatever.
Yeah,
I
I
think
like
he's
him
a
too.
piece.
Yep.
He's gonna be a piece here for a while, whether he's a number one or a number two.
Yeah, you like you said, our defense already in good hands. From Hutch, Brian Branch, Terry, and Arnold, those 3 guys right there, and you continue to just build around these guys. You know what I'm saying, and get. And Brad Holmes has done that. You know what I'm saying, for the most part. But Corey did put up. Yeah, there we go. That's a boy. That's a statement of the night right there. I mean, at some point we talked about it, Walt. This team is gonna have to take a chance, on a Hassan Riddick. Um, Hassan Riddick is a guy that I've been looking at, you know what I'm saying, to maybe be able to give us that attitude, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got it, but I think Reddick would pick perfect. I think that the Lions could get him. No, Mike, we not being depressing. I mean, we just being real. I mean, if you want to sit
We're
here and
talking
just
about injuries. How positive are injuries
yeah,
supposed to
you
be?
can't you can't be okay, so we're a different team now. So you telling me if Frank Ragnow's hurt, if Marcus Davenport's out for the season, we're a different team now. So we got to adjust. What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? It's just a situation where
Yeah, it's certain things you can't do now.
yeah, that's all. I'm not saying that the season's over. I'm not saying that they're not going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm just stating the facts, um
I think Mike was just joking though.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he
Yeah.
is. I mean, I just I don't want
It can
people,
appear that way sometimes though.
because you don't
Because
want
we
to.
dig too deep. I say sometimes we dig too deep. Pause.
Yeah, but if we see it happening, we see stuff happen. Like you can
Yeah.
see it. You know what I mean? And you know, you may have games where, like yesterday, like the offense, but like you said, after I calmed down and I thought about it, it was just like after all the emotions, everybody emotional. Everybody, some people just like it. It's not gonna. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? We'll be all right. Or sometimes or sometimes people will be like the sky's falling, this team ain't gonna do nothing, you know what I'm saying? People
Yeah.
worried, Jared Goff this, Jared Goff that, Dan Campbell this, Dan Campbell that. That's what we do. We fan base just got a good squad, man. One thing that's never changed is, you know I never swayed on my opinion of this team and think they're still, even with some injuries, they still upper echelon in the league. I mean, what's wrong with that? Yeah, and just what Corey said, right now, this is a wrong time for Goff sweating bullets, because it's a wrong
Yeah.
time for anybody to get hurt, because he's got to get his groove back. You know what I mean? So
Mike said, I know
yeah,
all that. Ain't gotta like it. I feel it, Mike, man.
Yeah.
Mike
Well,
been with us for a long time, man.
yeah. Much love, Mike. Mike is our guy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's for
Mike
sure.
joined in. What up, fellas?
Um,
What's going on?
hey, what's
Bobby
up,
Drake.
Bobby? Yeah.
I just want to piggyback on what Corey said, because
Hmm.
Corey, you ain't the only one that thought that. Me and this man talked about that earlier today about even the Trey Hendrickson. If it gets to a point in time where, okay, you built the team through the draft, we understand the culture is set. Um, 2 years ago, the excuses for not getting certain players was, well, we're still rebuilding. The culture isn't built, and da da this and da da that. Well, the culture is constructed now. You
Yeah.
were 1 year away. Well, 1 year. You were one play, well, a couple plays away from going to the AFC, the Super Bowl last year. So now it's a situation where we're not saying you got to go out and get bad guys. And just because players want money doesn't make them bad guys either. Like I heard on the radio earlier, somebody text in about Hassan Reddick. And, one of the commentators on there said, well, Reddick wants X amount of money and he went to the Jets and he's not playing because he wants his money. I don't know if they want that type of guy in the locker room. I'm like, what do you mean that type of guy? Like the Jets lied to him. So you
Yeah.
want a player to be a good soldier and play for an organization that traded for him, that knew he wanted to get paid, got him in the building and said, yeah, we ain't doing it.
Hmm.
And that's why I don't understand some of these fans that look at players as these soldiers, these good little soldiers who supposed to just show up and work no matter what. Like when you've been lied to about your money, you have every right to not show up and work. And I think
Hmm.
what the Jets did was very, very small business. It was Bush League. It was silly. I can't remember ever hearing about any organization doing that to a player. Not in
Yeah.
the trade. Usually it's already discussed
Yeah.
before you even make the trade. Okay, when I get there, I'm signing for X amount of money. They got him and then decided to not pay him. It's just some of the weirdest stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad player because you were lied to by an organization or misled in whatever fashion, and they're just doing bad business. So since the organization is doing bad business with me, I'm supposed to be the good soldier and just show up and play anyway? Nah, I wouldn't do it either. But we did bring up Trey Hendrickson earlier.
Hmm.
Cincinnati lose, Cincinnati fall to 0-3, Cincinnati fall to 1-5, something like that.
They
Could
losing
they
right now.
start? Yeah.
And
Could they
14
start
seconds.
moving off guys? Because we're gonna have to do something. That
Yeah.
bye came too early.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just gonna get into what you said. Well, I believe that too. I think that win or lose Monday night, and then the bye coming at a perfect time. It's going to be no football for a week around here, and or let's just say if we lose the game, which I don't think we are, I think we still gonna beat Seattle.
Whew.
But if we do, then people are really gonna say, especially if we don't no pressure on the quarterback, back to square one like we were last year. Phone line's gonna be blowing up all over the city. Talking about
To
getting a
me,
guy.
this will be an impressive ass win. If
Yeah.
they go into this game missing, well, Davenport won't play.
Hmm.
Aleem might play. I haven't heard anything. If any of the listeners, if y'all heard anything on Aleem and Neal, I haven't heard anything yet. Um, the Derek Barnes leg injury, I'm not so sure if he's gonna play.
Yeah. I haven't.
So
Yeah, and then Anzalone could be back. You know what I mean? He could be back next week. That's how much I think we are one of the top squads in the league. Period. I mean, just looking at NFL football for 3 weeks, the Lions are right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? We right there, and I think that you cannot stand pat if you Brad Holmes. You know what I'm saying? You have to, and remember last year, people became available. Yeah. Mark just said, okay, so Derek Barnes is out. Okay, so now we know that,
for the
and we
season
no,
or
no,
just the game? Okay.
yeah, maybe just for the game, but
What's up,
uh,
Mark?
yeah, I haven't thought about like who's available now. Everybody's thinking about who's available. So people remember last year was a bunch of remember Chase. We were talking about the Chase Young. Remember Montez Sweat wound up going to Chicago. They wasn't available at the beginning of the season. You know what I'm saying? And
Boy,
then they wound up getting traded. So
and Montez was balling, boy.
yeah. Montez ball right. So think about it. I do think that they know how close we are, and I don't believe that they're gonna stand pat. I think right now, of course, they just found out today, so obviously you can't do anything right now here at 9 o'clock
Like the
on it.
NBA.
Yeah, like the NBA, right? Right. You know
Man,
what
we
I'm
about
saying?
to trade for Buddy Hield immediately.
So we got to get a benefit of that. You know who
Yeah.
I feel bad for? I feel bad for Aaron Glenn, because Aaron Glenn
Yeah.
out there balling. You know what I'm saying?
He finally got his people.
He's showing everybody what he can do, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we heard a lot of people say, you know, they should have fired Aaron Glenn or whatever a couple years ago. And it just shows you, you know, when you got the talent, when you got the confidence in the scheme, you got the players to carry it out, it works. You know what I'm saying? It works, man. You know, just seeing Brian Branch lay the boom, just see Terran Arnold running stride for stride. You see Anzalone chasing people side to side. You know, you see Aiden Hutchinson coming off the edge. I mean, dude, pick your poison. And you brought up a good point. I'm glad you did with Melifonwu. I think that they can do something creative with Melifonwu. I like that, what you just said, because remember the Minnesota game last year when we clinched the vid. Remember, he had a ball game, blitzing the quarterback, interception, supporting the run. You know what I'm saying? Melifonwu big enough where he could throw his weight around, man. You know what I'm saying, and do something creative. So yeah, I mean, I didn't look at it that way until you said it, but you
I mean, that's just when
something.
he came back from injury last year.
Yeah,
You saw how it's like they had a significant in concrete role built for him. They
yeah.
finally figured out exactly what to
How
do
to
with him.
use them? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because he's not even at Syracuse, he was a number one corner. He was a boundary corner. So he was able to show his overall athleticism at 6'2", 210 pounds when he was at Syracuse. A lot of people thought he was going to end up ultimately playing safety anyway. We played him at corner when he first got here.
Mm-hmm.
His
Mm-hmm.
footwork ain't good enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
He's
on the
physical.
perimeter against like these Devontae
Yeah.
Smiths, Jamar Chases, like
Whew.
CeeDee
Christian
Lambs.
Watson. Yeah.
Now you can put him out there against the, like I said, the Drake Londons and the Kyle Pitts for that matter. Even though we don't play Atlanta, he's a hybrid that you can lock out there like a chess piece that you can match up with certain dudes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we talking about, well, Dallas ain't really got nobody right now, but if you're talking about, let's say Philly for that matter,
yeah,
the only guy on Philly he matches up with is AJ Brown.
Yeah, big, yup, just like
Yep.
big, just a yoked up, you know,
Yep.
freak
And
out
what you
there.
do is every time Philly puts AJ Brown in the slot, you lock Melifonwu on him.
Yeah.
Shorter space, lesser ground to cover. He can put his hands on him a little bit more. He can do more. He can redirect more. You just don't want Melifonwu on the perimeter.
Well, what about
too many people?
Yeah, what about having him like if we play Seattle when we play Seattle this week? Now, would you? Let me ask you this: now,
against DK?
would you put him against because DK a damn robot?
DK too
he like
fast,
RoboCop.
man.
Yeah, he have been done. Yeah.
DK's well.
I was thinking of this: if you jam him, if you jam, maybe, but like you said, DK like RoboCop. Dude.
But DK ain't too shifty either. I know that, but if you give DK space,
yeah,
he gonna eat them yards up.
Yeah,
but he can run. Melifonwu can run. He's not DK fast, but I think when you're talking about 40 times, all that gets kind of thrown out the window once we get on the field. Because now you're talking about guys wearing damn near 20 pounds worth of pads. They got helmets on. One dude is 6'3", 230 in Metcalf. The other dude is 6'2", 210. But once you talk about 2 6'2" dudes, long strides, one dude runs 4.44, one dude runs 4.35.
Yeah.
Typically, that gets canceled out by the height, the strides, the overall athleticism. I wouldn't lock him on Metcalf, though. We don't have anybody. We're going to put Carlton on him. We're going to put Carlton Banks on him. That's what we're going to do.
Hey, what about?
That's what we're going to do. It's going to be go Carlton, go Carlton. DK going to be out there moving on Carlton, boy.
Dude,
that's y'all boy, man. That's y'all boy, Carlton Davis. Lockdown corner, boy.
He's so hyped up on Skittles. He had been done jump and hurdled Carlton Davis.
He kicked them all in the face mask, pulled the AJ.
Like the last
not
Boy
AJ,
Scout.
Antonio Brown. Yeah.
You remember like the last Boy Scout, my man?
I don't know, man. Like from a physical talent standpoint, I don't think we got any matchup for DK. Don't too many teams do.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I was thinking about, what if we, um, because this week I believe, the injuries is going to play not maybe not a role. I mean, I'm interested to see like if Frank don't play because I think we can get by for maybe a week, or two. But I think when it come down, when we playing Tech, Houston, when we playing teams that's hella physical, maybe we can put Frank out there. You know what I mean, and maybe try to get a game out of them. Houston, Minnesota, teams that's real physical up front. You know what I mean. Like just imagine if we didn't have Frank against the Rams, against Tampa. All those two games right
yeah.
there was physical as hell. Like yesterday's game wasn't as physical because it just seemed like we overpowered them. You know what I'm saying? That just the line of scrimmage. But yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy. Like trying to weave and it to hopefully no more injuries is a part of the game. And like you said, we've been lucky, man, the last couple of years that we haven't had like key guys go down for a long time, and I think this is the tricky part about it. That's why it's important to build your roster, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know, when your name get called. You know what I'm saying? If you are Brandon Joseph, extra safety. Remember the Lions kept him around, had a good preseason. Last been on the practice squad the last couple of years. Brandon Joseph
Yeah.
playing. He played yesterday. You know what I'm saying? At safety for the Lions. So yeah,
Well, I want to ask you this real quick though.
yeah,
So, play Seattle,
yeah,
bye coming up. Play Seattle Monday. Got to buy that following week.
yeah,
What, 11 days off, I think. 12, close to it.
yeah.
Yeah, so how much of it, not saying that you would necessarily sacrifice a game because I don't think any head coach believes in sacrificing games.
Yeah.
You already understand the big picture. You got a bye week coming up after the Seattle game. You got Dallas. You got a big time road game at Dallas right after the bye. You got 2 weeks to get some guys healthy.
Hmm.
Do you go ahead and it's like, even though with Frank the partially torn pec, 2 weeks ain't even gonna really help him like that. So you're thinking about like who are the guys that you want to absolutely make sure when we get back from that bye, we going to Dallas with these guys. We know for sure. I
Hmm.
think Melifonwu needs to get healthy. Now, what worries me about him is the fact that he's not even practicing. He ain't even practiced last week.
Yeah.
So you want him back just because with Branch and Kirby, and you can just do so much more with those 3 and 4 safety sets. You can just do so much more. Who are you making sure that you get healthy over these next 2 weeks? Like, who are you sitting
I think
Monday? Because
yes.
you don't want to rush nobody back and make things worse.
Good question. I'm gonna say, man, I would rather have Frank for the Dallas game only because I think I don't know, man. I just feel like this week the Lions gonna smash Seattle. I don't know. I don't see Seattle going 4-0. I don't.
Smash,
I think the Lions gonna smash Seattle. That's how
Hulk
I feel about
smash.
it. And I think we gonna smash Dallas, but it's just I don't want to say it yet.
You just said
But but I
it.
know, but I don't want to. I remember I just
Live.
yeah. To answer your question, I would rather be guns a blazing against Dallas because I think you know the offense go get right. We could do it without Frank this week. I think our defense. We just say I'm gonna put in an atmosphere. Let's say we get to Geno Smith and pick six, something like that. I think our defense been carrying us. It's not by accident. I don't think it's like we making it up or just being lucky. I think that we can get by. You know what I'm saying this week, Walt. So what I'm getting at is I'm gonna let Frank 2 weeks off. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell Frank get ready for Dallas. Send you out. I'm moving Glasgow over. So your line gonna be Sewell. Uh, what's the other? Zeitler played the right side, so it's gonna be I don't know if you would move Zeitler over to left guard and maybe have Decker. No, you would have Decker, Sorstal, Glasgow. What's the other?
Personally, I would probably play Source Dog at right.
Yeah, I'm
Simply
comfortable
because
with that.
yeah. Yeah,
Comfortable.
simply because I think
Yeah,
if I'm gonna be without Frank for 2 weeks, even though it's only one game. But if I'm gonna be without Frank Monday night, I
Yeah.
know exactly how I'm gonna design my run scheme.
Yeah.
I know exactly how I'm gonna design my actual game plan to beat Seattle. Because at the
Quick.
end of the day, Seattle got the talent advantage right now,
Yeah.
especially with
Quick
us
throw.
missing so many players right now. I'm talking about defensively. I think that the corners and everything. You talking about Woolen and the boy
Kobe Bryant.
Witherspoon,
Oh,
Kobe
with
Bryant,
my God.
Quandre Diggs out there.
Yeah.
You talking
No,
about the
Diggs
edge
is
rushers?
cool
Yeah,
with Cena, but
yeah.
yeah.
So it's like if I'm Dan Campbell, I'm looking at it straight like this. Listen, we ain't supposed to win this game despite the fact we at home, but we just might win this game because our asses are at home. I would
Mhm.
be more pressed and worried about playing without Frank on the road, having to deal with that road crowd and everything, and Golf
Right.
having to deal with a
Right.
center that he's taking snaps from in practice, but he don't have that chemistry during a regular season game like that.
That's
So
right.
that's a lot to be thrown off on the road. But
And then I'm putting in the atmosphere. It's gonna be after week 4. It's gonna what our division gonna be three. It's gonna be a 3-way tie for 3-1 because Minnesota's playing Green Bay at Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. So I think Packers gonna win that. They going 3-1. The Vikings gonna lose, and Seattle gonna lose to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? They gonna be all 3-1, bro. You know what I'm saying? Seattle they ain't hell of a like that to run away with the NFC. No way. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe it. I don't believe they got some talent. I do.
hey, it might just be that type of season, man. Is
Not them. Not them.
Frisco beat up. I mean, it's gonna be who's the healthiest? Cause look
Even
at
I even
Frisco.
see Sam
They
Darnold was
quarterback
even hurt.
hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Frisco. Yep. Brock
he
Purdy
he
hurt.
got a hurt back. Nah.
Yep, I seen that Sam Darnold was hurt. They was looking at his knee after the game.
Everybody
Everybody
in
hurt.
the NFL won 21 games, right?
Right, exactly. That's crazy.
And no
But
preseason.
yeah, I would rather good. That was a good question too. I would rather have Frank against Dallas. I told you, any team I think we can win the physicality department without Frank, I'm gonna take a chance. And you know what I'm saying? Like when we play, Jacksonville, even though they got some good guys up front, they don't really scare me like that. So,
Not Tennessee against
uh,
Jeffrey Simmons.
well, yeah, there we go. Tennessee, right? You see,
Him
you
and
know what I'm
Sweat out
talking
there.
about. Yeah, hell, no, then we play Chicago, man. The division game's gonna be tough. So Frank, that man, that's a blow right there. If he can't play, and then they shut him down like after week 6 or something like that. I hate to even think about that because these 17-13 games, it's going to be a lot of those, I think, in our division, man. Now, the way it shaped now, remember I was going the other way. I said I think it's going to be more offensive, more points, but I beg to differ. I think it's coming back around where defense is going to win this thing, man. Whoever's got the best defense, be able to score. Like Kansas City right now, they look the most complete right now. Just I
They getting
almost
rescued too, man.
well, yeah, because I
They
was gonna say Rashay Rice and what's the other guy? Even though Worthy didn't do much the other game, but Rice look damn good right now. Do you know what I'm saying? With them, so it's a long season, man. It's a long season. Just think about playing week 5 against Dallas and then not getting another bye the rest of the season. That's tough, man. That's tough. I mean, we talked about it, so we'll see how
yeah,
it goes.
we didn't see these, well, at least foresee these injuries coming, but we
Yeah,
just got the injuries at the worst spots at the line
yeah,
of scrimmage.
yeah.
You don't want to be losing your center. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you don't want to be losing edge rushers, at least big time edge rushers who can stop the run as well as they rush the passer. You don't want to be losing defensive tackles. It hurts, So I don't know, man. At the end of the day, next man up.
Yeah.
This is why these coordinators get the big bucks. Nobody's gonna cry you a river. There's 31 other teams in the NFL right now that's has content creators making the same type of shows today that we making about their injury reports too. So
Yeah, for sure.
you got to figure out a way to win, man. I mean, even against Seattle, nobody's gonna feel sorry for us. If we lose to Seattle, I don't want to hear a bunch of excuses either. That Tuesday morning about how, well, we were missed a bunch of guys. We don't want to hear that when we play teams and they teams missing a bunch of guys. So you got to take the good with the bad. It is what it is. You just got to put together a game plan to beat Seattle. If it takes running the ball 41 times,
Yeah.
playing that ball control, keeping Seattle's offense off of the field, putting them behind on the scoreboard, putting Geno Smith in a situation where he has to play comeback. He has to throw the ball a lot more on the road. It's going to be a Monday night game. It's going to be sold out downtown. You're dependent on, in certain situations like that, and I've heard NFL coaches say that, sometimes you ride the home team. I mean, not the home team, but the home crowd to a victory.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a situation they're going to need. They just missing too many people right now.
Yeah. Facts.
Jeez. Ralph says the media going to have a field day with us. Oh, yeah. If we look, or if the Lions lose, for the people that don't believe in the Lions, man, listen, after we lost to Tampa, everywhere I went, and it was always old dudes too. Yeah, saw your Lions lost yesterday. Told you they hadn't changed. They lost one game. What you mean they ain't changed? Like, same old Lions. I told you. Like, man, if you don't get your old silly ass on somewhere. But no, it's like people who just can't wait though. People who just can't wait to see. I told you, same old Lions. Y'all went 14 and y'all won 14 games, but y'all lost 2. Oh, y'all lost 3, same old Lions. But no, they're gonna be fine overall. I didn't think they would lose to Arizona. I thought it was gonna be a higher scoring game, but they just bullied Arizona around. It was like a pit bull playing around with a little feeder dog or something. And I don't want to offend nobody out there. Just throwing out a little comparison, but it's like they knew Arizona didn't really pose a threat. They knew they was better than Arizona, so they kind of like went through the motions against them, and they beat them. They beat a team they were supposed to beat. So now it's on to Seattle, man. So for y'all out there, what do y'all think about this in the comment section? Because what do y'all think about Seattle? I think everybody hates Seattle. They hate the fact that we haven't beaten Seattle since Titus Young rookie year, I think.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
while. I didn't have. I'll have it the next show, but
I actually remember that game. Stafford kind of clown too, that game against Russell Wilson. They beat Seattle. That was the year did Atlanta go to the Super Bowl that year? I think Seattle went Atlanta. That was the year of the
Atlanta
Atlanta
and New
New
England.
England Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But it's been a minute, man. It's
Yeah.
been a minute. So hopefully we can take down Seattle. What else he got down here? What's up, Mike? Mike says you dig a hole to fill a hole. You still got a hole. That's the best way to put it, man. That's
Yeah.
the best way to put it. And I think that's the best way to really identify a football season. When you
Yeah.
start losing guys, that's why I think this team was so gung-ho on getting guys that are versatile. Vikai. In a pinch, he can rush the ball on offense, or he can play box safety on defense. Malcolm Rodriguez, I don't expect him to really rush the passer that much, but Malcolm can help out in the pinch in some different spots. Ralph Douglas says Seattle just always play with us, play with certain toughness. They get a real hard nose with us.
Yeah. They
I
get
think we
after.
similar. I think both teams are similar to each other. It sucks that we've been working our ass off building this team the last 3 years to get to this point to take down Seattle, and we got to go into it missing a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
A dude's gonna tough it out and play, but that's the whole thing. We don't want guys to tough it out against Seattle in week 4, and then they end up missing 3-4 extra weeks because of
Yeah.
injuries and this and that. So that's why I asked you that question: if do you not necessarily sacrifice the Seattle game, but you just go into it with a certain type of game plan to get out healthy, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully you can win the game, but you want to make sure guys are good to go after that bye against Dallas.
Yeah, sure, for sure, for sure. I feel like that, this week we can get by this week, but after that, what I'm saying, like you said, you got to play it by ear. I think the division game is going to be kind of, all of them important right now. But right now, this is seeding, so Seattle games become they almost wins right now because especially when you playing, NFC opponents, you just don't want to have them have a game at hand against you. So yeah, we come back in a couple days and we start, setting our sights on Seattle. And obviously we're gonna hear more about these injuries, you know what I'm saying, and who's going to be available. We're going to be watching who's practices this week. I think that always the telltale. If a guy don't practice on Wednesday, then his status turns from maybe questionable to doubtful, to then to out. You know what I'm saying?
You know
So
they're gonna play that game with Seattle though. They're gonna keep
yeah,
everybody doubtful till Monday
yeah,
morning.
yeah,
Watch what happen.
yeah,
They'll keep everybody doubtful. And, it's just gamesmanship as far as coaches.
yeah.
So,
Facts.
all right, man, we covered all those injuries for the most part. We didn't get a chance to really get into a lot of the lingering old injuries. We did talk about Ifeatu Melifonwu and his potential impact if we can get him back soon. But like I said, we will be back to cover Seattle in a couple days, break everything down about that game, the point spread, the over-under, how you should bet. We're going to look at Seattle's injury report. That's your line right there. You handle a whole lot of the gambling, the betting aspect of it. I'm going to drum up a scrapbook, little post of everything about Seattle that I think can be attacked, where I think we need to really set things down and figure out a certain game plan against certain players, certain units for that matter. Y'all gonna enjoy it. If y'all enjoyed the Arizona show this past weekend, you're going to for damn sure enjoy the Seattle one. Till next time, enjoy your week.